What is up, everyone? Matt back for another real review, and today we're here to talk to you about the third installment in the Creed franchise, or if you want to look at it this way, the ninth installment in the Rocky franchise, and that is Creed 3. Um, Personally, I was most looking forward to this film because this is the first time that we are getting to experience Adonis Creed without Rocky. This is the first film where we're no longer really standing on Rocky's shoulders or leaning on Rocky, and we're completely focusing on Adonis and the Creed name. And I absolutely dug that idea. We all knew it was coming as soon as Creed 3 was announced because they gave Rocky his storybook ending in Creed 2. And on top of it, this film is also the debut of Michael B. Jordan, the star of the franchise himself. And I gotta say, this was probably one of my favorite directorial debuts in the last 10 or so years. It's nowhere near like a Ryan Coogler or um, Greta Gerwig when it comes to directorial debuts, but it was a pretty damn solid directorial debut. Um, we are a couple years post the Drago fight, and we have a retired Adonis just trying to live his everyday life, be involved at the Delphi gym, raising his daughter, just being the family man, making his life post boxing as a boxing promoter of sorts. And it's all kind of turned upside down when Damian, someone he considered his brother when he was younger, comes back after spending 18 years in jail. Damian, like Donnie, was a boxer, and unlike Donnie, he already had the fame and the glory attached to his name before he got put away. He was the top boxer in the country under the age of 18 at the time he was put away. So when you have someone who came from the streets and has been put away for reasons that you're tied to, Donnie's kind of feeling man, I owe them this, I owe them a chance. And that's kind of where our story just starts to grow and expand. And honestly, I really dug what they're able to do with this. It's a story about brothers. It's a story about the ability to forgive. It's a story about coming to terms with just who we are and what we've done in our pasts and forgiving ourselves even. So I was very interested to see what Michael B. Jordan was able to do, especially when he's talking about having anime influences in his directorial style when it came to fights, and those are pretty prevalent. Not only in the first couple fights, the first two, like there's a total of 3 fights in this film. You have Donnie's last fight before he retires. You have Dame and Donnie's protege at Delphi Gym, their fight, and you have, of course, the big fight of Donnie and Dame. The anime influences, while sprinkled in those first 2 fights, are heavily prevalent in that final fight. People are either going to love it or hate it, think it's too on the nose. But if you know that he's coming in with this idea of wanting to use anime and anime type visuals in the fight, you kind of ride with it a little bit more. I know I loved it. It was different. It's something you're not used to when it comes to a Rocky or Creed film, but it was, to me personally, a breath of fresh air. I think, once again, Jonathan Majors is at the top of his game. That man can stand there and say nothing and be able to just captivate you on screen. And seeing him play this character right at just a few weeks after we see him as Kang the Conqueror and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was just like, wow, this man really does not need, cannot be put into a box. He can do so many nuanced things. In this, it's the character of someone who feels like the world owes him everything, and the guy who he considered his brother is now living his life, and he's going to do anything he can to get that life for himself. His character is older than Adonis. So what happens there is Adonis, just because he this was his older brother, he's trying to help him out because he helped him out when he was younger. He took care of him. Um, Michael B. Jordan's direction is just going back to that is interesting. Um, Felicia Rashad, just while she only has a few moments in this film, there's one that is just completely heartbreaking and ties together this entire series so well. And I think once you're able to see the film, you'll understand which scene I'm talking about. But we see a side of her that we haven't really gotten to explore with her character in the past two films, and that is more of the role of a mother who you can tell cares deeply about her adopted son. And it was interesting because this was the first film we actually got a mention of her and Apollo's kids, because there's a moment where Donnie talks about growing up, how when he's defending how he's treating Dame and how he's trying to just uh, help Dame get back on his feet to her. He mentions how Dame was more of a brother to him than any of her kids. And you get that sometimes. And I totally understood it. I just, those two were able to have such a chemistry. I mean, Felicia Rashad and Michael B. Jordan, that the scenes they're in together are just heartbreaking and beautiful, and some of my favorite pieces of this movie. I mean, the script's not the best, but what Rocky, outside of the first Creed film and the original Rocky film, what film in this franchise has actually had a really good script? Let's be honest. But the story itself is what was the most important piece. And the story overall was compelling to me. Uh, and Ryan Coogler, story by credit, he might not have written the script, but he was involved in the story. You can feel his fingerprints all over this. Someone else's fingerprints you can also feel all over this, but they aren't actually involved, is Ludwig Göransson. There is a new composer this time. I forget his name. I remember it's Joseph. I forget his last name. Um, he does a great job of just building off of what Ludwig has done, but still making it his own. You're able to, if you're really a fan of the first two films, you're able to sit there and be like, there's something different about this music. It doesn't feel like Ludwig, but it still stands out on its own and is a really good score overall. It's nowhere near Ludwig's score, but I did want to give props to that composer because he did do a fantastic job. And the cinematography in this is gorgeous. Like the whole Adonis prepping for the fight with Dame at the end, such a beautiful visual sequence. The fighting just sequences, gorgeous itself. They did a really good job of this. But overall, if I'm going to give this film a rating, I am going to give this a 4.5 out of 5. This is probably easily my favorite movie of the year. Just between the two performances from two of the best working black actors right now, the score, the visuals. I haven't even talked about Tessa Thompson, who does a fantastic job, or the girl who plays Adonis' daughter. Deaf actress, was just really, really cute, played the young daughter role well, and you could tell they're setting up a future post Adonis with her character, and I'm all here for it. And I'm just really loving what they're doing with the Creed franchise. I can't wait to see it grow even more. And yeah, that was my review for Creed 3. Be sure to check out What Real Gaming. That is our gaming channel we have over here. It's a sister channel. All our Twitch streams that are gaming related end up going over there. Be sure to check out the HBOs. While we're talking about The Last of Us, I think Succession is up next, so I actually have to start binge watching the first 3 seasons of that. And yeah, and if you didn't watch it earlier, my review for Cocaine Bear is also up, so be sure to check that out as well. But thank you once again for watching everything we do over here at Wattwell Entertainment. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow everything we do over here. And until then, we'll see you next time.